So again, Peter Racey here from Frew Park YouTube channel, and this is the last in the series this morning with Geoff. And I left this last because part of the tennis narrative that is being developed has been helped enormously, Geoff, you will find this story interesting, by the Geoff Masters Tennis Centre at New Farm, and obviously named after yourself, because when Tennis Queensland approached the Lord Mayor to have the Roy Emerson Tennis Centre at New Farm named after Roy Emerson, there was a little bit of pushback from the council because they didn't want 6 tennis courts to have a name. And of course, lo and behold, there's a great example, the Geoff Masters Tennis Centre in New Farm. So that was an extraordinarily great help, and it broke the ice.
Right.
Then the other unique fact was that historically in Brisbane, tennis centres were actually around 6 courts. I mean, that was traditionally what they were, zoned as and operated as in Brisbane. So for that reason, the Roy Emerson Tennis Centre got over that. So I just thought you'd be interested to know that you played a very useful role.
Well, that's good.
And now,
good to be useful.
It is. Now, you've, on the other hand, got an interesting story to tell about the opening of the tennis centre. And I think it would be good to get a little bit of that history now, because it is a beautiful little centre in a beautiful park in a quite iconic spot within Brisbane.
Yeah, look again, I think Daphne Fancut's had a major role to play here as well, because tennis courts that were prolific around Brisbane and Queensland and Australia going back in the 60s and 70s gradually have disappeared, and a lot of people, not the least of which the Fancuts, have been concerned about the lack of facilities available for young people, not just young people but all people, to play at. And so there was a bit of a push to have some facilities made available at all various locations around Brisbane. And growing up in Brisbane as I did, my name was put forward to be the name of this tennis facility at New Farm Park. And it's a lovely facility, obviously, at New Farm Park. And I think the premise was to make the courts available for those who perhaps didn't have the wherewithal to pay for court hire at other private facilities. Those who could pay were encouraged to do so. So this is a facility that's been made available, and Councillor Hinchcliffe at the time was somebody who came and named or opened the facility in my name, made quite a do of it, and I've got, in fact, one of my friends that plays there on a regular basis, and I think many other people use it these days as well. So it's just nice to know that there are more facilities now available in Brisbane that people can use, and the fact that my name is a part of that, I feel very privileged and honoured to be a part of. So I hope people keep using those courts and any other court around Brisbane in tennis as long as they can.
And David will be very interested to know that he formally opened that, because it had slipped his mind when I did ask him about the background as to how, why and what the background of that was. David's now retired from politics and is a very successful artist, and is one of Brisbane's great characters. He's a real live wire, David. There's no doubt about that. Now, just talking about the fan cuts, one of their great passions is practice walls.
Yes.
That will be actually clipped onto this, a little section there by Charlie, talking about practice walls. And so I thought I'd give you the opportunity, because is there any practice walls down on the Gold Coast?
There's one at the Gold Coast tennis headquarters in Queen Street. But on that, I grew up with a tennis wall, and my dad was a carpenter come builder, and in my backyard he built me a little practice board, because when I was first growing up I used to hit against the wall of the house, and he said, well, that's no good, it's a whopping big wall and it's too easy. So he built me this little this practice board that was high enough off the ground to be net height. It was about 1.5 meters wide and about 1 meter deep, and I used to stand up against the Hills clothes hoist in the backyard and hit balls at it, and angle it such as it hit the ball and came back and bounced on the uneven grass and went all different directions. And if you missed the board, you went and fetched the ball. So it was a great device for learning control, good footwork, because the ball's going to deviate off the ground. So I was very fortunate to grow up with something like that, and so that's why it's been such a useful tool, and people like the fan cuts are so passionate about having walls. I think it's important that they're not too big, that they're just a size where those who've got some expertise can use it, but not so big that you can just hit it anywhere else. So very useful, simple tool, not very expensive, and I'm all for them. And
it's just one of those things where when parks are becoming more and more important in our more unitised mode of living, I'm hoping that that the issues in relation to the bang clunk, which people living close to the walls complain about, which is the reason why the councils are keen to see them, because they want kids to have a good lifestyle, but then they've got to balance that against, well, where in a park can we place it so we don't annoy people? And it'll be great when they invent a silent tennis ball. I'm not quite sure when that day will come, but hopefully it won't be too far away. And so with that, we'll say good morning. And Geoff, it's really been an honour. And so thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure everyone who's watching the series, and there's something like 70 odd YouTubes now loaded under the Frew Park YouTube channel, are finding the history of interest. And with that, we'll say good morning and thank you.
Hi, I'm Charlie Fancut, and this is the tennis practice court. The council has built many of these in the parks, and they hopefully build many more, and they're fantastic. Please use them, all you young players and older players.